Oh my goodness. Exactly 20 years ago, February 19th, 2001 was the day I gave my first English class, officially speaking, of course. I do wish I could celebrate this day in the presence of friends, in the presence of my family, but because of the pandemic, that will not be possible. So here I am to share. Yeah, the important thing is to share. And I think the best way for me to do that today is to share some knowledge, hopefully, right? And I decided to shoot this video with 20 tips for 20 years of practice. So if you're ready, take notes, come with me. In this video, we'll be talking about different aspects of language learning, English learning, more specifically. And I tend to talk a lot about pronunciation because it's one of my passions. So there will be some sort of repetition, but I really like to have a more holistic approach to English learning because I do believe that this is a commitment one should have for a lifetime. Okay, so if you're ready, come with me. Tip number one. Do you know that we have some words that have the same spelling but different pronunciations and different meanings? Think of the word C-L-O-S-E. How do you pronounce it? Close or close? If you said close, you're right. If you said close, you're right as well. Yeah? Remember, if you say close, close is the verb, like close the door. Now, close is the adverb. I live close to the beach. Okay? There is a cat close to me, right? So that's tip number one. Tip number two. Did you know that the TH combination may have three different sounds? Yes, it's not only the thank you, it's not only the voiceless sound, the sound, okay? Thank you, therapy, think, mouth. But we also have the voiced sound, that is the z, z sound. It's similar to the Z sound that we have in Portuguese, like zaza, zeze, but then the tip of your tongue goes up here at the back and touches the back of your upper teeth. So zzz, zzz. Yeah, so you're gonna say something like za, za, ze, ze. Got it? Yeah. Well, here are some examples. This, that, father, mother. And then there is also the TH can also be pronounced as a sound, but that's only used for foreign words such as Beethoven, the Thames River, Thailand. Okay, but that's more of an exception. But the thing is, we do have three sounds for the TH. Boom. Tip number three. Find a passion, because for you to learn English, it requires repetition. And but repeating, that's so boring. Yeah, you go to the gym and you have to repeat series over and over. If you do swimming classes, if you take swimming classes, that's the same thing. It's repetition, repetition. So if you want to make this activity less boring, let's put it that way, find a passion. It could be a band, a music band that you like, or a singer, and then you take the lyrics and you start singing along. Pause the song, read it carefully, read it again, pause again, and then you listen and repeat over and over. You can also record yourself. Yeah? So find a passion, listen, and repeat over and over. That's tip three. Tip number four is intonation matters. You know, every language has its own intonation patterns. If we think of Portuguese, I don't know if you have ever noticed that, but we tend to kind of sing. Yeah? Oi, tudo bem? Como é que você tá? Something like that, right? But then in English, It's usually not like that. We usually have a flat tone, and then at the end of the sentence, you go up or down. It's either a rise intonation or a falling intonation, right? And I can tell you that common, the most recurrent pattern in the English language is the falling intonation. If you have affirmative, negative sentences, you will have fall intonation. What I mean is, for instance, I live in Santos. It's not I live in Santos. It's I live in Santos. I've been a teacher for 20 years. I've been a teacher for 20 years. It's not I have been a teacher for 20 years. No, I've been a teacher for 20 years. Okay? Um, I haven't visited my parents. I haven't visited my parents. That's falling, negative sentence. You also have falling intonation when you have WH or how questions. WH, where, when, why, which, who, whose, how often, how many, how much, how long, all of those. So you're going to ask, even if you think of the simplest question like, how are you? You're going to say, how are you? How are you? It's not how are you? How are you? How are you? Attention. How are you? Yeah. If you don't actually mean to emphasize you, then how are you? How's it going? Where are you from? What do you do? It's not what do you do? What do you do? Okay. Then the rising intonation is more for questions that are what we call yes or no questions. Do you live here? Is it raining? Are you ready? Have you been abroad yet? Okay, so we have rising intonation. And then there are other peculiarities, but then we have already covered uh, negative, affirmative statements, and also questions. Okay, intonation matters because it's how we can trick them into thinking that we're wonderful speakers of the language rather than just, you're Brazilian, right? Why did they discover we're Brazilians? Maybe, I dare say, it could well be because of our intonation. Yeah? And it does matter. Now, tip number 5. How do you express future? Yes, the future. How do you express future in English? You're saying will, right? You're saying will or going to. Well, actually, these are two possibilities. And there are cases in which you're going to use will or going to. But did you know that we can also use the present simple to refer to future ideas? Yes, when you're talking about fixed timetables, fixed schedule, you are supposed to use or you are expected to use the present simple. Present simple, the structure of present simple. But it does have a future idea for a future fixed timetable. For instance, I have a plane. Yeah, I'm traveling to Paris. So the plane leaves at 7 tomorrow. The plane leaves at 7 tomorrow, rather than don't say that or avoid saying the plane will leave at 7 tomorrow, as it's something fixed. It's not going to change. It's not up to you to make this decision to change. If you're late, au revoir, right? The plane's not going to wait for you. You missed the plane, so it's not up to you. So use the present. And we can also use the present continuous for future arrangements. Arrangements, that's that kind of thing that you have in your agenda, in your schedule. You know what I mean? So if you you have an appointment, so you could say, "Oh, I'm seeing the doctor tomorrow at 4. I'm meeting I'm meeting my best friend this Sunday." Yeah. So for arrangements, future arrangements, use the present continuous. Yeah. Well, but then that is the thing because we tend to translate, and it's okay to translate. That's an extra tip. Yeah. Because we have to use the resources we have available so that we can better understand the language we're studying. So it's no problem. But sometimes the translation doesn't help us, it doesn't really connect. For instance, when I say, I'm visiting a friend, I'm meeting a friend this Sunday, I can translate to estou encontrando uma amiga nesse final de semana, no domingo. Eu vou encontrar, encontrarei, okay? Then when we translate to Portuguese, then we have to make these adaptations. All right? So it's not always will that we're going to use for the future.